So I got baited earlier by Xiendong's, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, title of another video. So I decided I'm gonna like watch another one that I haven't watched and try react to this one. So this is called Yes, Ragnarok Zero Global has pay to win cash shop, but here's the difference. Again, sounds cool, sounds a little bit clickbaity again, but it sounds cool. So the previous one that I got baited by was about the activation system, and I know about that, so it wasn't really new to me. So let's check
Okay,
this
so
out.
guys, before we even talk about the cash shop, I think we first need to talk about something that most players don't realize, and that's the difference between a mobile MMO and a PC MMO. Because honestly, I think many of us have spent so many years now playing mobile MMOs that we
Hold on. Maybe so many of us. I mean, maybe maybe your audience, like I don't think Europeans have, for example. This is a different situation for sure. But I mean, his audience is probably mostly in Asia, so I'm not surprised he says that. And judging by his channel, he's covered a lot of them too, so that makes sense for him to say it.
started judging every MMO using the exact same standards. And sometimes that's fair, but sometimes it completely changes how we view a game's monetization. So let me just show you what I mean using this paint. Okay, so guys, before we continue, I want to give a quick shout out to GOC Pay.
Okay, we don't care about affiliations and sponsorships. Let's skip that.
So let's say this is a typical mobile MMO. You start here, level 1, and then level 20, then level 30, then level 50, then endgame. It's actually very simple because there's only one progression path, there's only one roadmap. Everybody is basically climbing the
Is it like that in mobile MMOs? Like, I have no idea. I've never played one. I've only played like Diablo Immortal for like an hour.
exact same ladder. Now let's say there are two players, let's just call them player A and player B. So at launch, both of them start at level 1, both of them want
But hold on, it feels like I'm just trying to make a comparison to, like, for example, World of Warcraft, right? Like another PC MMO. It is the same way. Like, it's just one way to like the end game. That's the end game.
to reach the same destination. The only difference is player A spends money, player B doesn't. So what happens? Well, let's say the game sell enhancement materials, upgrade materials, progression materials. So naturally, player A reaches this checkpoint faster, then another checkpoint faster, then eventually reaches the end game faster. Now let's say player B doesn't spend money and then misses one day. He didn't do his dailies, he didn't use his stamina, he didn't do his events. Now suddenly the gap becomes even bigger, and because most mobile MMOs usually follow one straight
Okay, hold on, but that doesn't even mean pay to win. Oh, my chair. Hold on a second. This doesn't even necessarily mean anything. Okay, you reach the end game faster. Okay, cool. But the player B also missed, like he said, give in an example, he missed like daily quests or whatever else. He didn't put in the same amount of time, apparently. He put in even less. So it's normal that he's gonna be behind. And I mean, does it really matter if you reach end game faster than the other guy? I mean, if there's like, I don't know, maybe there's something in the end game that needs to be done or something. I don't know.
progression.
Because I'm thinking from a Ragnarok Online perspective, like there is no end game, truly. Like it's a sandbox game, there is no goal in it. So I don't really care if somebody reaches like max level faster than I do. Like, okay, cool. What now? Like that was your goal. My goal is, for example, to farm, I don't know, 50,000 poison spores. That's my end game, for example, right?
But that gap doesn't just stay there, it keeps growing. Because while player A is already working on the next upgrade, player B is still trying to catch up to the previous one.
Yeah, but I mean that's the nature of games too. Like, does it really apply to mobile MMOs? I thought mobile MMOs are more like Diablo Immortal. Like you're already at the end game, both of you guys, and the guy that spends like $10,000 a month is like going to absolutely destroy you in every PvP activity because that's how the game is constructed, and you're not gonna be able to play with him in PvE activities because PvE activities also include pay to win aspects, as in you need to buy cash shop stuff to do dungeons, And that's the pay to win. So you cannot do the dungeons as a free to play player, this type of thing. I thought that's what mobile MMO is. If perchance mobile MMOs are actually like this, like he's describing, which I don't believe they are, then this isn't very heavy. Like I wouldn't mind that too much. Like it's just like, okay, you put in the time, you do stuff. Okay, you don't put in the time, you don't get to do stuff, right?
And that's why monetization in many mobile MMOs feels so impactful. Because the reality is, in many mobile MMOs, the roadmap doesn't actually end at endgame. In fact, that's usually where another progression roadmap begins. Like you unlock another progression system, then
Yeah, like
another
Paragons,
awakening
whatever else,
system,
right?
another upgrade
Yeah,
system, then
that makes sense.
finally battle power system. And most of the time, everybody is still trying to improve those exact same systems. So even at endgame, the roadmap is still mostly the same for everyone. The only difference is how far each player is on that roadmap, which means if
Yeah, so that's not hard. That's not even pay to win. Like I don't think that's pay to win. Like if the roadmap is the same for both players, if you're a free to play player and you can access exactly the same thing, literally exactly the same items, exactly the same dungeons, everything, as the pay to play player, then what is really the difference? Like the guy is just doing it faster. Okay, cool. Like, it doesn't really matter as long as I can do everything the same way without being restricted in any way. Then, like, without having arbitrary things put in my face that I have to pay to kind of get around. I think what he's trying to portray is a lot different than what he actually is portraying here in this video. Because what I'm hearing about, I'm not a big mobile MMO player. Like I said, I only like watched videos about it. But what I've known of what I've been told is that mobile MMOs or mobile games overall just gatekeep you from progression. That's why the pay to win stuff is there, and that you unlock specifically whole different new areas just because you're a paying player and things like this. And you can participate in paid only dungeons, things like this. So like gate locking content behind paywalls, that's pay to win. That's like a very very unfair, right? But this thing, not necessarily what he's describing. Maybe he's going there with something else.
one player spends more money or one player falls behind, the gap continues to grow even after reaching endgame. Because they're still competing on the exact same progression track. They're still
That's the thing. Why are they competing? Why do we always think about competing with other people? Why can't you just open the game and play the game? Why does it always have to be a competition?
chasing the exact same form of power, and that's also why missing even a single day can sometimes feel terrible in mobile MMOs. Now let's
Yeah,
go
that
to
is
a
true.
PC MMO RPG like Ragnarok Zero Global.
Okay.
And
Okay, so now I'm very curious because what he described in mobile MMO was very mild to me. Very mild. So I'm thinking how mild is gonna be the Ragnarok Zero Global description. I'm very curious right now. He definitely got my attention.
let's use the exact same example. We still have player A and we still have player B. So at launch, both of them start at level 1, then level 20, then level 30, then eventually level 50, which is the end game. Now at first glance, it actually looks exactly the same as the mobile MMO example. Player A
Here's the thing, there is no end game in Ragnarok Zero Global. I think that's a flawed assumption right away. The end game people assume hitting max level is the end game, which isn't true in Ragnarok Zero Global as well. You can be level 99 and you will still have to do dungeons from level 60, for example, simply because of the way the game is designed. So is that truly the end game? And that's the thing, like, it's such a sandbox thing that you can do whatever the heck you want to do in. It's hard to define an end game, but let's keep going with this train of thought, I guess.
starts at level 1, player B starts at level 1, both of them reach level 20, level 30, level 50, and eventually endgame. So technically they're following the same roadmap, right? But actually guys, that's only until they reach endgame, because in Ragnarok PC, endgame is usually where players start creating their own unique roadmap. Let's say player A reaches endgame and then he decides to focus on MVP hunting. Now
Yeah,
he's
there you go.
farming MVPs,
Their own
like
goals.
looking looking for rare drops, competing for bosses. That's his roadmap. But player B reaches the exact same endgame, and instead of hunting
Okay.
MVPs, he decided to focus on PvP or maybe WoE. Now he's building completely different gears, completely different cards, completely different affix of his gear. So again, that's his unique roadmap. And then let's say that we also have player C. He reaches endgame
That's the beauty of Ragnarok Online, right? You can do whatever the heck you want.
too, but he doesn't care about MVPs, he doesn't care about PvP, he just wants to become rich. So now
There you
he's
go.
farming
That's probably most of my characters.
materials, he's hunting valuable cards, he's selling items to make more Seni. That's his unique roadmap. And then we have player D. At first, he actually
And on the subject of getting rich, a lot of the stuff that leads you to having a lot of economic power in Ragnarok are not necessarily tied to the end game. That's when you really think about it. But I'm just gonna leave it out there.
looks very similar to player C. He reaches endgame, start farming, makes Zenny, hunt valuable cards, sell materials, build up his account, basically just like player C. But the difference is player D was never planning to stay on that character forever. His goal from the very beginning was to use that character only as a farmer, to build up wealth, save resources, and prepare for the future. So after weeks or maybe months of farming, a new class becomes popular, a new build catches his attention, or maybe he finally decides what he really wants to play. So now he takes all the Seni he saved, all the resources he accumulated, and create a brand new character, then start all over again, like level 1, level 20,
Right, that's awesome. Like, I love this. This is how Ragnarok Online is for me usually. Like, I love this.
level 30, level 50, and then end
Completely agree. Like, that's why I love sandboxes. Like, you don't have to do things, right? You just do whatever the heck you want. It's a game.
game. Again, not because he failed, not because he fell behind, but because he's
Here's the thing, like, there is no failure. There is no way to lose in Ragnarok Online. Like, you're losing in certain aspects of the game. If you're playing Ragnarok Online and within that game you go play PvP, well, obviously you can lose in PvP. If you decide to partake in MVP hunting, you're obviously competing against other people that also decided to partake in MVP hunting, which then you can lose to them. So, as in individual activities within the game, you can lose because there are competitive aspects built into the game. Some people like competitive aspects, that's why they exist. You can lose, right? But overall, as for the entire game, there's no such way of there's no such thing as a win or lose. I think so. Just because people, like he illustrated perfectly, have so many different ideas on how to play this game, which is, I think that's great. That's what makes this game fantastic.
first character was simply there to fund the next one. And honestly, if you play Ragnarok before, you probably done something similar yourself. So
Yeah,
unlike the
exactly.
mobile MMO example where both player A and player B are chasing the exact same destination, in Ragnarok PC, everybody reaches endgame, but after that, their roads start splitting apart, and this is where I think the biggest difference happened. Alright, so guys, quick reminder, GOC Pay, the official
We're gonna skip the sponsor, but this is such a good point that he's making here.
your final build. They don't give you MVP cards, they don't give you your WoE or PvP setup, they just simply help you to get there faster. And personally, that's why I see them more as a progression shortcut than an endgame shortcut. Now, Oridicons and Aluniums are a little more controversial because unlike leveling gears, these directly affect character power, and honestly, I understand
Mm, maybe, but only very very small maybe, because every refined ore sold in the cash shop, even despite being named enriched, is actually HD, and HD ores are garbage. And everybody who's used them before in large quantities and actually did the math behind them knows that. Like, just saying.
why people don't like them. But even here, guys, I don't think refinement alone determines your entire character. I mean, a Plaston weapon is nice, but Ragnarok has always been about more than refinement. You know, like there are still card system, there are still different builds, and that's why I don't see a Plaston weapon alone as an automatic
Yeah, okay, but plus 10, like, activated weapon is crazy powerful, not gonna lie. So, yeah, it kind of is about refining your gear, not gonna lie. But, it's not pay to win. because you can get blacksmith blessings from MVPs, and everybody gets credit for killing the MVP. So I'm just saying, you don't need to just be the MVP, the guy that dealt the most damage to get the loot. You just get a daily quest from the MVP raid. You go on the map, everybody kills the MVP, you just do 1 damage to it, the quest completes, good, GG, get your box, you know.
Tick I win button. And then guys, another cash shop items, there are these buffs. Well, these buffs are probably the part I have the most mixed feelings about, because they do provide a real advantage, especially for farming.
But they're extremely like inconsequential outside of like level up to level 50, maybe.
And
+7 to all stats is not anything to write home about when you're like level 80 on renewal. It's nice, but it's not nearly as powerful, not even in the slightest as powerful as it was in pre-renewal Ragnarok Online. Just like this 30 attack, like that's an additional attack as affix on your gear. So you can kind of supplement that by, you know, actually rolling, getting really, really good gear, which you can obtain from any single monster in this game.
MVP hunting, but from what
They don't provide that much advantage in MVP hunting, and the MVPs have millions of HP, hundreds of millions even, and your 30 attack isn't gonna give you that much of an advantage, and your +7 to intelligence isn't gonna give you much of an advantage in that department either. That's where the real advantage comes from your gear right there, from your attack, from your actual upgrades, from your actual effects on your weapons and on your armors, on your enchants, the memorial dungeon stuff. These things are extremely inconsequential, in my opinion, in the late game. Like, you will be using them because they are there. They provide some sort of advantage, right? But like, I wouldn't be using them for farming at all. I would maybe be using them if I was trying to solo a memorial dungeon, for example, and I wanted every single piece of advantages buffs that I can get my hands on. So that because I'm soloing it, right? I can rely only on myself. So I want to like maximize, min-max everything that I can on my character. But otherwise, outside of leveling the first job, they make leveling first jobs very cool and very easy though. Like, I will give you that for sure.
I seen, their impact is much bigger in PvE only, not in PvP or WoE. And for
We haven't seen any War of Imperium or PvP. Just saying, so we cannot say from what I've seen. But judging by their effects, he is correct. These will be extremely inconsequential in War of Imperium. Like, anybody that says these will give you a massive advantage in War of Imperium hasn't played War of Imperium, I think. Like, from what War of Imperium is extremely bursty. It's so bursty. It's gonna be bursty. You get automatically deleted most of the time. It doesn't even like these are offensive buffs, and you getting a bunch of offensive buffs on you, it's not gonna prevent you from getting Azura Strike to death, like double Azura Strike, for example, or like sharpshoot it like 5 times a second because you get a bard and you have a sniper on the other team that deals a ton of damage, right? So I'm just saying, the offensive buffs. These are all offensive buffs.
me guys, there's a huge difference between paying to
On that note, because that leaves the door open for a counter argument. Yeah, but the offensive buffs give you more damage. Yeah, but you don't need more damage in War of Imperium. Like, the classes that already do the damage in War of Imperium were doing that damage before and will be doing that damage after those cash buffs anyway. Like, that's a whole different discussion.
farm faster and paying to beat another player. Now, there's one thing that I think is worth comparing, guys, and that's the other official Ragnarok PC version. So take IRO, for example. So over there, they had systems where players can spend
No,
money
you can't
on
compare
gacha
that.
type items. You know,
You can't compare that. This is like a whole different story. IRO is like off the charts. IRO is just insane. It's like comparing watermelons to apples. It's stupid. It doesn't even exist in the same realm of like anything. Not on the same planet. IRO is like, you don't pay, you don't play almost.
like you can buy something, you open it, and you get a random reward. And sometimes those rewards can be incredibly powerful. And
Not sometimes anymore. Sometimes it was in OCP 1, 2, and 3 when I first started, when I remember them. Like, we would get the toy syringe right in your mouth, and that was like, whoa, that's really cool. But now it's like, okay, you don't have OCP equipment, you don't even play the game.
Personally, guys, that's the type of monetization that concerns me much more because at some point it affects the identity
If you have a situation where cash shop gear replaces in-game gear, that's when you have a problem. That's not the case in Ragnarok Zero Global for sure.
of the game itself. Think about it, guys. If one of the strongest items in the game can come up from a cash shop
Yeah,
gacha,
exactly.
then what's the incentive to go out into the world and hunt for it? Like, what's the incentive to chase rare drops? What's the incentive to participate in the economy driven by the players itself? So for me, that's where monetization starts becoming dangerous, when it begins replacing gameplay instead of supporting it. And that's probably why after looking at Ragnarok Zero's cash shop, I don't think it's nearly as aggressive as some people are making out to be. But again, guys, it still have pay to win elements. I'm not denying that. But compared to some of the monetization system we've seen in other Ragnarok PC versions over the years, it honestly feels much more
And I don't even agree it has pay to win elements. Honestly. Most of the stuff is so inconsequential.
restrained, and that's currently
Even the small mana potions, man, just buy cheese. Cheese is like 28 zenny.
where I stand. But anyway, guys, I'm actually more interested in hearing what you guys think, especially those of you who have played other Ragnarok PC.
Yeah, no, great video. Great video. It's a very long time to explain it, but great video. I really like what he did with those progression paths in here, because this is basically me. Like in PC MMO, that's me, right? Like even when you take player and you replace it with character, I sometimes make characters specifically designed for one thing only, and that's kind of what can be put together into a player progression path, because I end up making different characters for different purposes. Anyway, so yeah, great video. Um, check it out. It's on Xiendong's channel. He makes really cool videos overall. And I will see you guys in the next one.